Hello, hello, you talented stars and starlets. I am one of your hosts here, Chantele Francis. I'm a certified hypnotherapist and actor with my amazing co-host Ariel, who, as am I, is an actress and a certified hypnotherapist. And we created together a series for actors that really supports them through hypnotherapy. So it's called Reframe, Relaxed, and ... Today, we're going to be determining our boundaries and our boundaries within our careers. So, welcome, of course, Ariel. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing very, very well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Thank you. It's nice to be back and talking about all things hypno and all things acting, which are my two favorite things to do.
Same.
So the theme this week is going to be determining our boundaries as an actor. So just maybe give a little snippet as to what that means, and then maybe introduce our guest to have further discussions on this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So what it means is boundaries. How do you even begin? There's so many ways that boundaries can be important in your career and in your personal life to enhance your focus, to your moment-to-moment performance, in your interpersonal relationships, and even with yourself. And so I struggle personally a lot with creating healthy boundaries. It's been a lifelong journey. And I was really inspired to just get on today and talk to you and our amazing guest, who's pretty much a master at this, in my opinion. She's so good. And just kind of see what your perspective is on boundaries and how that's come up in your own life and in your career, and how setting strong boundaries can enhance every aspect of your life. So that's kind of where the idea came from.
Awesome. So, well, if you want to continue chatting along and introduce our guest for today.
Yeah, for sure. So today we have one of my best friends in the whole universe, Stephanie Isaac. She is an award-winning actor, writer, and director with over 20 years experience on stage, on the mic, and film and TV. Stephanie has recurred in CW's The 100, Firefly Lane, and many television movies, and is currently holding down the law in her 4th season as Central City's sweetest cop officer, Daisy Corber, on The Flash. And I'm sure that we'll learn more about this, but Stephanie has some really exciting projects that are gaining a lot of momentum in the festival circuit, and tons of more exciting things coming up. So yeah, without further ado, I would love to bring on Stephanie Isaac.
Yay!
It's always a little bit surreal to hear your bio read out loud, isn't it? You're always a little like, oh, right, yeah, okay, I did that.
That is me. That's me.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, maybe taking a look at yourself and seeing it as like somebody that's being introduced and kind of, put up on front in the stage there. So it must feel really nice.
It does. It does.
So what is your connection then with hypnotherapy and with our topic this week, boundaries?
Hypnotherapy, I have worked with Ariel, who's a wonderful hypnotherapist. And then I have my own practice on the side. And really, when I think about bridging hypnotherapy in my work, really for me, the biggest thing is just allowing a lot of inner stillness and a lot of inner space, because our work can take up so much space if we let it, which is tying us into boundaries. It can be a really demanding athletic career being an actor, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I think about hypnotherapy tying into acting really as like just a way to get myself in a headspace to even allow things that come with being an actor, like trust and courage and, making your own big choices. And I'm going to ramble if you let me. You have to.
The floor is yours. You're our guest. We want to hear from you. They hear us talking all the time. So you are what's most important to be highlighted today.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I said you can ramble as much as you want. If you don't want to ramble, that's fine too. Well, have you had maybe in your career, like recently, maybe a point where you did have to either, put your boundaries in place, or you realized after the fact that, ooh, I really allowed my boundaries to be overstepped, and maybe there was an unfortunate outcome that came from not presenting your boundaries?
Yeah, I think I've had both. I've really had both. I am Ariel knows this about me. I am a social person. I have a lot of friends. The summertime is a time for camping trips. It's a time for getaways. It's a time for fun times on the weekends. And as my career has progressed and my time and my health and my mental clarity aren't just important to me as a person, but have become sort of a liability for me in terms of my life as an actor, because you have to, maybe liability is the wrong word, but I need to protect them. Like, I wish I could get an insurance claim like JLo did on her legs on my Focus. But it's, like it becomes extremely, oh, look at that.
Yes, and we'll pop that in.
Yeah. So long story short, I've said no a lot more this summer to a lot of the sort of bigger events that I normally would have given a lot of energy, a lot of my time to. And they're always a lot of fun. But I think as an actor, there comes seasons for you where you have to just make a lot of space to be healthy, to be focused, to be sort of in your flow. And then another time that a boundary I haven't been so great with, I am good at boundaries. Ariel's right. You know what? Sometimes I lack, sometimes in conversation with other creatives, I find myself just wanting to connect so deeply with them that I will often just give so much of my energy to them, and I'll want to sort of, and I'll look for something back from that. And that doesn't always happen. And then I've sort of set myself up for disappointment when I'm like, well, why can't I just show up as my authentic self and just, really be there in authenticity with somebody in an even energy exchange. I feel like Ariel's seen me do this.
Absolutely. I think we all have our version, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think for myself, like with boundaries, I'm good in some regards, maybe in my personal life, I'm better. But then within acting, I feel like I can't say no to certain things, or I have to, like, I don't want to disappoint or let down, whether it be my agent or the casting director, if I can't do, an audition or something like that. And, it really increased a lot more since the pandemic, because all these are self-tapes at home. So essentially I should be able to handle all of them, but sometimes I literally cannot. And it does make me, I feel really bad and I feel really guilty when I let people down. Like one time my computer literally died, and like I'm on my phone with my agent. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't get this to you. I don't have a computer right now. I don't know how to, like, it was just, I couldn't get it done. And so, even just that alone, feeling compelled to try to figure it out, as opposed to being like, you know what, like, let me put my boundary here. Like, if things are a little bit too difficult for me to get done, it's not really, I don't have to jump through hoops and to get something done for my agent, for my casting director, for them to see me in a certain type of way as someone that's reliable and will always get it done on time. So I think that that's definitely for me a boundary that I haven't figured out how to set it like well for myself, because I have so many, especially with the commercial world, like just hundreds and hundreds of auditions all the time. And like, sometimes I don't look at what it's all about. And then I realize in the 11th hour that like I need a reader. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I need a reader for this. Like, I don't want to.
Are you, Chantele, are you LA? You're LA based.
No, I'm in Toronto.
You're in Toronto. Okay.
Yes. So yeah, that's what I've been finding. Like, once I think about boundaries right now, is not wanting to let people down on my team. Like, I don't want to let my agent down. Don't want to let the casting director down.
Yeah.
And I guess in the sense it also lets myself down because like I'm just still feeling guilty about the fact that I didn't get it done. I didn't even let that go. And so it's not like I'm doing myself a service here when I say no to something. It's kind of like I said no because I had to say no, and like I still beat myself up about it. So
yeah, and I think commercials are a really tricky arena for actors because in Vancouver, we don't have, are you union or non-union? Chantele, you're union.
Full union, yeah.
So we have almost no union commercials out here. So I audition for a commercial maybe twice a year.
I literally have 10 a week.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? All of my non-union friends out here are in the same boat. They've got
right.
so many. And I really think that like you cannot beat yourself up about, but you know, as actors, we're always, because our work is all on spec, right? Our work is all on spec. And we're like, maybe this will be the one that gives me the giant payout. But it's like, I think energetically with commercials specifically, it's like, you've got to just let yourself find that flow of that one's just not for me. That one's just not for me. It's fine. Like
so hard.
It is hard, but you know, like that, are you a people pleaser?
Not in most senses, like just with like integrity stuff. So whether it be work ethic, and I would consider my acting career work ethic. So being able to show up and be reliable is very important to me. In my regular life, I usually put myself first, but when it comes to work, I definitely put, I don't know about pleasing, but I definitely want to come across as loyal and responsible, you know?
Yeah.
Well, my guess is that everyone in your life thinks that of you. And that the only person who's at risk of not thinking that of you when you like let one or two things slip every month is you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm the only person that holds myself to a high standard for sure.
I really feel that too. Like I want to be considered reliable, hardworking, and loyal in that way. But then that's where I get into trouble with boundaries. And I mean, I think my boundary situation definitely comes up sometimes in acting, not too much anymore, but definitely when I was a non-union actor, for sure. I remember even sitting in those rooms. I don't know if you guys remember. And in Vancouver, I don't know what was going on, but sometimes we'd have to have these auditions and sit there for 4 hours, 3 hours, waiting on producers or whatever it is. So looking back, I think I would have done things differently.
You would have been like,
yeah, you're right. That's how we learn.
That's really tough.
Well, and like another boundary as well is like not even wanting to book out because you don't want to appear to be like unavailable or, you know, like inflexible. And so like that's also something that I've had to like, wait, if I can't be there, I'm just going to book out. If I'm going to go on vacation, I'm going to book out. And so that's something that I've had to, you know, allow myself to do because I have missed out on quite a few things in my lifetime for the fact that like, I don't know if I could do that. What if? So that's one thing. But what I think is really funny about the kind of whole going on vacation and stuff like that is me and my best friend, she's also an actress. And our joke is, it's like, you want to book a role? Go on vacation. Like you want the best audition of your life, you know, not be out of town. Like it's always how it is. And I think it's because we don't have all that energy and pressure and kind of potentially desperation around like, I need this job. It's like, I'm not even available to audition for this, or I'm not available for this work. And so there's a little bit of ease with these roles. And I think energetically, that's why they're attracted to us in those times.
Yeah. I think that that's so interesting, the whole, because that's a joke for all actors, right? Like you want an audition, book a vacation. And I think it's really interesting because if you really break that down, it's you've set this boundary, you've prioritized yourself, you've said no to the work, you've decided to set this boundary of like, this is me time. And then the universe throws you something. So to me, like it's annoying. Of course it's annoying and it seems to always happen. But at the same time, it's interesting because I really believe in energy, and I feel like you guys do too as hypnotherapists. You know, it's all about energy exchange, and that energy to me of setting this boundary and then it attracted something. Oh, that's interesting. Like to me, that just says, oh, like if actors were just better, because I do think that actors just, it does not serve us to be so in service of the industry constantly. Like it does not
Absolutely.
serve us energetically. It doesn't serve us. It doesn't end up booking us work. I really don't think so.
I
Like I
agree.
really, you know, Oprah said it best. She's like, I didn't really start living my life until I learned the power of no. And I think that that's so powerful for anyone in such a demanding industry because I see it all the time in my own life. Like I have hit energetic walls in my life. And I think that's why I'm so good with boundaries, because I've hit places where I'm like, if I don't change something, I'm going to have to quit this career. Like I'm going to have to quit. I'm giving too much. It's too much on me. I can't do it anymore. So like, for example, I decided a few years ago, I had a little bit saved away. I had a little bit in the bank from some voiceover stuff I'd done. And I was really dying in the service industry. It was not aligned with me at all. A lot of people thrive there. I was not one of them. And so I just decided no more. I was like, I can't, if I stay here, I'm going to quit acting because I hate this so much that I'm going to end up just quitting in 5 years or something like that. You know, like I saw this sort of like warning sign in the distance. I felt that. And I was like, I have to get out of this. So I just sort of jumped off a cliff and I took my little cash and I was like, well, I hope this is enough. And I hope that, and that was
The catapult.
4 years ago. And I have not, I've, you know, I've booked something ever since. I've come close a couple of times where I'm like, oh, that number's getting really low. I would book something. So, you know, I feel extremely fortunate in that respect. But I credit that boundary for so much of that energy coming at me.
Well, actually, just to piggyback on that, I have a friend of mine, her and her partner are both actors, and he is so nonchalant about his career. He doesn't care that much. He never takes lessons or classes. Like maybe he learns his line, maybe he doesn't. Like he's so carefree, taking care of himself all the time. If he wants to go up to the cottage, he goes up to the cottage. Like he's just so chill about his career, and he books non-stop, while my friend is super talented, puts in so much work, is really, really particular about like what she, like, you know, make sure if it's an important audition, getting that coaching. Like she puts so much effort into it, and it frustrates her at times just to see that he doesn't even seem like he cares, and he's being rewarded by all this fortune. And now just how we're looking at it today, it's like maybe because he's prioritizing himself, he's putting his boundaries up, he's not allowing himself to be only of service to the industry, but he's being of service to himself first, and he's kind of being rewarded with that energetic match. So I think this is a little bit eye-opening even for me, just to see that, you know, maybe putting some boundaries might allow that flow to be a little more reciprocated.
Ooh, this is why I love this. This is why I wanted to talk to you guys, because I think that it can mean so many different things for people. But I think that, I mean, I'm not an expert on boundary. I don't think any of us are an expert. Some of us are better and some of us, you know, me, not so much. But I think that there's a lot of discovery in just having these types of conversations. So.
Absolutely.
I would also say that your friend's husband is probably also relaxed a lot. Like if he's very nonchalant about his career,
relaxed. Even though he's a Sagittarius. So like,
what happens, you know, when you start saying no to things, it starts small, but it really creates this snowball effect of just a little bit more time and space, thinking space, breathing space in your life. It can mean everything for people whose careers are just so personally demanding.
So Ariel, do we have any number ones on the call sheet that we might have looked up today?
Absolutely. So this one I've been wanting to bring for a while, which is Julianne Moore.
Do you have a picture you can, if you want to share from your computer, you can use share and I'll give you access.
Okay.
Love me some Julianne Moore.
Yeah, she is incredible. So it's more of a quote, basically. Okay. I'm just going to share my screen here, that I felt like was really relevant, and that I feel like, because we've all experienced hypnosis, that we could certainly relate to what she's saying, especially around acting. So here we go. All right, so you're seeing this here? That's where everybody knows her. All right. So she's quoted with saying that I actually think acting is a form of self-hypnosis. You have to be hyper aware of what's going on around you. You have to know where the lens is, what the shot is, and where you're moving. And then you have to trick yourself into an emotional state where you believe this stuff is actually happening. So I felt like that, I mean, on so many levels in terms of performance, but also can come right back into your own personal life and affect your beliefs and your habits and everything relating. And there are some theories that we're always in hypnosis all the time. The whole goal of hypnosis is to actually dehypnotize yourself to come back to who you really are. So, yeah. So I just felt like I wanted to share that. And I'm not exactly sure what her experience is with doing hypnotherapy sessions per se, but we've talked about this before, accessing that flow state while in performance, relaxing the body, or accessing different kinds of altered states can certainly help with performance. What do you guys think of that?
About acting being a form of hypnosis?
Or yeah.
I mean, I definitely think it is. We talk a lot about being in the moment and like really connecting. And I think that hyper focus really is a hypnotic state where you're able to tap into, that space. I might have mentioned this before in our sessions here, and talking about Wayne Dyer. He talks about the space between the notes is what makes the music. And I think that hypnosis kind of is allowing us to go in that space between the notes, and that's where the music is being made. And so I do really feel like when we allow ourselves to be in that connective state where we're tuning in, where we're not thinking anymore, where we're just actually being in the now, and experiencing having connection with another person, I think that that's like the actor bug that we all get bitten by at some point. We're like, oh my God, it felt so amazing. I don't remember what happened, but it was so good. I do feel like it could be considered a hypnotic state. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think that I've been looking into, I know there's a lot of research with athletes, there's a lot of research in actually other creative fields, but there's not a ton of research when it comes to what is going on in the actor's brain when they're in their peak performance. And I've always wondered why, but I think resource. So we all know that on set, time is money. So there's no time to put electrodes on an actor's head while they're working. I think that maybe down the road, or perhaps something underground, if somebody hears something about this, I would love to know. And I would
are you trying to fill that hole, and maybe you're gonna do that?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking
Canada Council has a lot of grants for that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. But if you hear of any research or anybody listening, I am so on board. I would love to be a part of the study. I'm thinking like Meryl Streep's. I'm thinking like the type of actors who are in that, they're very, very highly skilled, and just to kind of see what's going on inside their brains. And then also, if you had electrodes, I feel like hooked up to somebody's body while they're working, it could be quite distracting, but then again, there's
like motion capture. You're fine.
Yeah, I think if you've got true professionals, like that's part of the craft, right? That's part of being a good actor, is knowing that you can turn it on whenever you need it.
True. So whenever the study happens, or I make it happen, I would
say find some good theater actors. If you ever run this study, Ariel, find some really like appeal to Bard on the Beach, or Stratford or something, and get some intense theater actors. Because I find theater actors, because in theater you get into this state and then you can stay there for 2.5 hours a night. Sometimes, it's like my brain did things when I used to do a lot of theater that I've only touched a few times in film, and I really miss it. I feel like that's really the addictive quality of theater, is like your brain really does. What Julianne Moore was describing, I call actor brain. Like I call it that dual awareness that starts to turn on, and it really only turns on for me if I've like really worked at it. And in theater, I start to really get that double awareness of I'm completely present with my scene partner, but I'm also aware of what I'm doing from the outside and my environment and everything. So
yeah, it's super interesting as a topic. And that's kind of probably what I'm attracted to about hypnosis and about acting and about like tarots and tarot cards and astrology. Like all that stuff is kind of going into the subconscious and into that space that I was talking about. And so I find it really fascinating. All of us are we are kind of addicted to being in that state. And so, yeah, I 100% think that acting is a form of hypnosis. And I also think that I do believe that we are living in an hypnotic state, obviously more impressionable when we're from 0 to 7, but even watching TV, we hear that hum, and you might be kind of in a hypnotic state where you're able to hear the news and it gets imprinted on your subconscious. So yeah, I do think that we are picking up things subconsciously all the time. But I definitely love that we can go into hypnosis and we can shift and reframe some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we want to maybe leave on the cutting room floor in terms of, how we feel about boundaries and maybe what's, coming up in our careers?
So does that make sense, Steph? The cutting room floor. So just imagine that you can let go of something that is keeping you blocked, keeping you stuck, or a belief or a society imposed something.
Yeah.
We want to just let go.
I've got things.
Okay.
So okay. I think I have two things. I am really, really bad when things go well. I don't know how to process success. I really don't. And it like good things happen, and then immediately I can go to bad headspaces, or I can, I filter it. My psychology filters it in a really interesting way. And I've really been starting to dig into it just in the last little while, because I've had some good things come my way. And I'm, constantly on that inner journey of understanding myself more and doing more meditation and things. So yeah, so there's that, learning how to process success. Sorry.
Would you consider that to be like imposter syndrome coming up, or is it something different than that? Or like fear of success, or fear of how you're going to be perceived by your success? Like, can you maybe think off the top of your head, what do you think that actually is?
I think it's a nice little smorgasbord of everything you just said.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think but the biggest thing, I think, I was just journaling about it this morning, actually. I have like my biggest inner sort of like wound, I believe, is that I feel inadequate. Like I just feel and I fear that I am inadequate. And when good things happen, it comes with all of this like, oh God, it is imposter syndrome. Like I'm actually inadequate and I fooled them into this. But then it's also like, I don't know. Sorry. It's also this whole other space for me that I'm trying to figure out exactly why. It's probably the Canadianness of me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm doing well. I'm so sorry. Like, please don't mind the space I'm taking up over here. Please don't mind me.
Right. And so can I just maybe ask, what's the difference then when you're not working? Like, so it doesn't come up when you're not working, or do you ever find any other times in your life where that kind of imposter vibe or feeling or inadequacy comes up?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's colors of it in every aspect of my life. I think that's really how our biggest wounds present themselves, is they don't discriminate. They kind of seep into every little aspect. Like I see it in my relationships. Sometimes it took me a really long time to feel adequate for my partner. So I just sort of kept him at arm's length. Ariel remembers this at the beginning of our relationship. And so I've overcome that, and I'm in a wonderful safe space with him. But yeah, even we got a cat, and immediately Ariel also watched me go through this. I was like, I'm not doing a good job. What does she need?
The cats take care of themselves.
And then like I immediately went to, we did not deserve her. Like it was a mistake for me to have this cat. Like I couldn't accept that this beautiful little being who I love so much and who is the cutest cat on earth, could be mine. Like I couldn't accept that. So, yeah.
So definitely, I mean, these are very relatable, thoughts that you're having that you definitely want to release and let go of. And I think it also, all of it kind of folds into I know it's really buzzword, catchphrasey, but it's that whole self-love, self-care piece. And, it's like knowing that we are worthy, know that we are valuable, know that we are enough to be receiving all the good that we have in our life. And so I think that it keeps on coming up because like it's that important. We don't feel adequate because there's something inside of us at this point doesn't feel like we're enough. And so just to I'm sure Ariel's going to say this many times, but you are enough and you are worthy of all the success that you have, because you are a being on this planet that has passions, goals, and things that excite you. And so you are worthy of achieving and experiencing them. So just to put that out there before we go into
here.
So all of what you said, I want to put on the cutting room floor as well. And for me, I would like to put aside any part of me that feels as though I need to complete something for somebody else in my career. So kind of like how I was saying before with my agent or with casting director, like feeling like I'm letting them down, instead of like me wanting to present my best work. You know what I mean? Like it's just maybe shifting my intentions for doing things, as opposed to, I don't want to be pleasing, my agent. I shouldn't care that much. And so maybe releasing any care, even though still doing a good job and wanting to excel, but just that need to make sure I get it all done to be perceived as reliable. Like I feel so guilty when I'm late or something. And I'm just like, I don't need to feel that, because it doesn't actually matter.
Life is too short, right?
It doesn't actually matter. Who cares if my audition is late or if I don't get it in? So yeah, I'd like to release that. I might think of something else, but what do you have to say, Ariel?
I mean, resonate 100% with everything that you guys are saying. And I think that a lot of people listening, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of cultural stuff in there too around, I mean, like Steph said, being Canadian, but then also being the people pleasing aspect, or being a woman who gives in service like endlessly, stuff like that. So that I would like to release and place on the cutting room floor. I also think that, there's an aspect where I struggle the most with boundaries is that because I make my own schedule, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm working from home, and then also balancing acting, I do find that if somebody, if it's a friend, a family member, or whatever it is, needs me, I always will jump and be like, yes, absolutely. And then after, I will say yes before they're even finished, because I always want to be there for people. And I genuinely do. However, there are days where I'm spending a lot of hours doing something or traveling or whatever it is, where I could have been more focused and had boundaries on myself. And I do believe that love or service or whatever you want to call it comes in different channels. So maybe it doesn't have to be me. Maybe they can ask me, I can say, no, I'd love to, but I can't today. And they'll ask somebody else who happens to be free, who's retired, who loves to do whatever. So kind of having that position, I think, will support me, because it's hurt me in the past and definitely sabotaged times when I could have been working on classwork. I could have been working on writing or my auditions, but I'm out there thinking that I have free time when in reality it's kind of a debt to myself. Does that make sense?
Totally. And that makes me, I'm on a crusade. I feel like we need another word that's not selfish, because we have such a negative connotation with selfish. It's such a pejorative. But what we all need is to choose ourselves more.
Absolutely. And so I think that's in the self-love thing as well.
Yeah, like we need a different word that means selfish, that means kind of the same thing, but doesn't have that same association. Because I think that, like, I've said that to Ariel before, like, you got to be more selfish. And I've said it to myself. I've said it to so many people. And like, sometimes I've maybe been too selfish, but it's like, I think that that's tough, especially, it's a great point you make, Ariel, especially as women. Like, we don't want to be seen as taking up too much space. We've been programmed to believe that we're here to serve, as you said. And I think that we actually serve much better when we are, as you say, Chantele, when we've done that self-love and we feel whole, and then we feel like we have something to give.
And, this analogy is always used, but I'll use it again. When you're on an airplane, you always put the mask on yourself first before you put the mask on your baby or somebody that you're taking care of. And that's because when you are at your fullest and you're capable of doing things, that's when you're actually able to give and help someone else. And so that selfishness is kind of like really filling up your own cup, really allowing yourself to be taken care of so that you have the capacity to be able to take care of other people. You're not running on empty and doing everything for everyone else. You're running on full, so that means you have the full capacity to be able to help and take care of other people. So 100% agree. And maybe in hypnosis we'll tap into a new word for selfish that's a little bit more positive, and we can reframe it, and it's going to be our new word for that. So before we get into hypnosis, we just want to clear the lens here a little bit about some misconceptions about hypnosis. So do you have any misconceptions about hypnosis that you've experienced and that have been shifted since you've been starting to work with Ariel?
I mean, I don't know. I think that, of course, I would have, like a lot of people probably, when you first started hearing hypnosis, you just think about, Las Vegas shows and people, barking like dogs on command. But no, I don't know. I think that, I think that hypnosis is getting more and more legitimized in our society, which I'm happy to see, because I think that, it has a lot of neuroscience behind it. It has a lot of great case studies and things to draw from. So I think that I don't have any misconceptions. I'm just glad to see that it's becoming more and more of something that people are turning to.
Well, absolutely. And like you kind of mentioned the stage shows, and that's a lot of people's first, like how they first meet up with hypnosis or a hypnotist, where they're bringing people on stage to do a stage show. But we just want to remind everybody that everybody is coming up on the stage because they want to participate. They're saying, yes, I will say yes to these suggestions. And if they're not saying yes to these suggestions, you'll notice that the hypnotist will be like, okay, you can go back and sit in the audience. And he only really works with people that are willing to say yes to these suggestions, because our teacher says all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And that really is true. You do have to allow yourself to say yes to these suggestions. You are in full capacity of your mind still. You might be a little bit hazy a little bit, but you're still able to speak. You're still able to scratch your face. You're still able to listen to what the other person's saying and have a conversation basically with your eyes closed. So do you have anything to add, Ariel, before we go in?
I would like to add that, I think a big part of why Chantele and I also like doing the show and talking about hypnosis so much is that we want to show that hypnosis is not, we're not woo-woo out there mystical people. We are, but we're also very much human. We're actors just like everybody listening. We are normal people, everyday people, and we're not. There's no spell casting possible. There's nothing that we could do or say. Even if I said, like, when you wake up, you're going to be Beyonce. Okay, that would be amazing. And if you wanted that, yeah, if you wanted that, yeah, we'll put that in the hypnosis. But if you wanted that, maybe you would be a step further towards that. If you really, really wanted that, absolutely, you could probably align with her energy. But if you didn't want that, you'd be able to just be like, no, that's not possible. That's.
I'm not going to align with that. No, I'm not going to let that in.
I love her, but I'm not going to align with that. So there's nothing magic going on other than the magic in your own mind, which I think is the best medicine. That's the only medicine.
Mm-hmm. It is. So we'll have a little safety meeting. Of course, if anybody is listening to this that's operating any sort of motor vehicle, please do not do that at this point. You want to be in a safe space, because we will be going into that theta brainwave state. And even if you are driving or something and you think that you're being completely lucid and awake, you might still go into those theta brainwave states, and it might be dangerous. So make sure you are safe. What would you like to add, Ariel?
Yeah, just make sure that you're comfortable. Your comfort is the most important thing here. So you can be seated, you can be lying down, you can get something cozy. And of course, if you need to, like Chantele said, if you need to scratch an itch or you need to adjust totally feel free to do so. Even if you need to open your eyes for a moment, you just allow any distractions to just help you go deeper into the practice of relaxation. And each time you go deeper.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So everybody go ahead and mute your mic. And we'll just be in a short hypnosis process around boundaries today. So begin by closing your eyes all the way down when you're ready. If you want to turn off your camera, you can do that too. Good. So just taking some long, slow, deep breaths all the way into your belly. Just fully using your instrument here. Actors know how to breathe. And sometimes we forget, but we do have those foundations. So just coming back to those deep belly breaths. Coming to the here and now. And allowing any thoughts or any tension or any worry that is less than beneficial for this present moment to just be released on every exhale. As you continue to breathe, deep belly breaths. And allowing all tension to just flow out from your body that is less than beneficial to this present moment. Good. And I'd like you to take a moment to just go inward and just have a quiet celebration for yourself, for showing up here today, for your career, for your creativity, and for your highest and greatest good. Because reality is, sometimes boundaries can be tough. So just taking these moments for you to just come back, focusing on those breaths. You're doing so well. So continuing to breathe. So we're going to use the eyes to help you relax even deeper. So I'm going to count down from 10 to 1. And with every descending number, you will open and close your eyes at different points. And when you open your eyes, I'd like you to look up at the ceiling, or if you're lying down, it would be almost as though you're looking into your own eyebrows. And what you're doing is you're creating a light straining sensation in your eyes and you're breathing. And then when I say the number, you close your eyes all the way down and send a wave of relaxation all the way through your body from those muscles in the eyes down to the tips of the toes. And this will take you even deeper into a state of physical and mental relaxation. So number 10, go ahead and open your eyes and hold that gaze, making sure you're creating that light straining sensation in your eyes, and hold and breathe. And close your eyes all the way down and thinking to yourself, deeper relaxed, and allowing all parts of your body to just let go. Number 9, open your eyes, hold and breathe, and close your eyes all the way down, continuing to breathe. Good. 8, open your eyes, holding, breathing, Closing your eyes all the way down. Deeper relaxed. 7, open your eyes. Holding, breathing. Allow the eyes to close. Breathing nice and easy. Good. 6, open your eyes. And you might begin to feel a fluttering sensation in your eyes. That's good. And close them all the way down. Deeper relaxed. 5, open the eyes. You're halfway there, holding and breathing. And this time when you close your eyes down, send a wave 20 times deeper. Good. 4, open your eyes. Hold and breathe. Closing your eyes all the way down. Deeper relaxed. 3, open your eyes. Holding, breathing, close the eyes all the way down, deeper relaxed. 2, open your eyes. Hold and breathe. And then allow the eyes to flutter all the way down. Continuing to breathe, release, and relax. And 1, open your eyes. Holding, breathing, last one, and then allow the eyes to be heavy and closed and send that ripple all the way through your body down to the tips of your toes. Beautiful. So taking a moment to notice any subtle changes or any shifts in your body. And I'd like you to find yourself in a safe place. So this is a place where you feel more safe than you have ever felt. So it could be on a stage, could be on set, could be in your own souped up trailer, or it could be somewhere else entirely. But wherever it is, you feel more safe, more secure, more connected than you've ever felt. So I'd like you to use all of your creativity here and really bring up all of the 5 senses. So noticing how it feels to be in this safe place. Noticing what sounds you might hear in this safe place. Noticing any colors or details or scenery. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and reach out in your inner mind and actually feel a texture or a weight, a temperature. There could be something even nourishing or healthy or just straight up delicious that you can taste here in this place. And if so, go ahead and activate that sensorial experience and really bring up that taste. Just anchoring into this safe space. Taking a number of nice deep inhalations. Breathing in any fragrances associated with this safe place. Because you're always the boss, you're always in charge. You call the shots here in this safe place. I'd like you to go ahead in your inner mind and make this scene even more perfect. So maybe you want to bring in more treats. Maybe you want to add your own unique signature here. Whatever that means for you, just go ahead and make it absolutely perfect. So continuing to allow the body and mind to relax in that connected sort of way. From this place of deep relaxation and ease, feeling your mind in that peaceful, safe space. So from this place of deep relaxation, we can call forth any images or any experiences that we are ready to change, transform, and level up on a deeper level than ever before. So when I count down from 3 to 1 and snap my fingers, a movie screen is going to appear. And on that screen is going to be a scene in your life, a recent scene where you struggled with either setting a boundary with somebody else, or maybe it's an inner boundary with yourself. Maybe it's a habit of self-sabotage or something that you just feel needs to shift. So 3, I'd like you to settle in even deeper. 2, trusting what comes. And 1, so allowing that movie screen to appear. And I'd like you to see this movie of yourself in a recent time where you felt like you needed to create that boundary. Something needed to change. So bringing up all of the details in this movie. Really bringing them all the way up. Noticing who's in this scene, if anyone is there with you. Noticing if there's a certain costume or outfit or set of circumstances in this movie. Noticing any other details about this movie. And perhaps you can even see subtitles there, or you can see in the inner mind of the main character, which is you. And just go ahead and notice if there's any thoughts that are attached to this scene where boundaries were compromised. So breathing nice and easy and continuing to trust that powerful subconscious mind. Really good. So go ahead in your inner mind. And I'd like you to make this movie black and white. So draining all of the color, all of that vibrancy, and using your powerful inner mind to see this movie in black and white. Good. And just noticing if there's any other details that have changed. And go ahead in your inner mind and see what happens if you make the screen really, really, really tiny, really, really small. So small that it almost disappears into a speck of dust. And go ahead and see what happens if you flip the screen and you reverse the scene and you throw it upside down, and see if anything changes. And perhaps you'd like to even go in and jumping right inside this movie and rearranging any characters or any props or anything at all that needs to be changed, and seeing what you notice. Continuing to breathe nice and easy. And then go ahead and make this scene even more vibrant. So adding all of that color back, making it very, very bright, and remembering that you are the boss of the scene. You are in charge. You call the shots. So make it very, very, very bright. Really enhancing the details of this scene. So good. So I'd like you in your inner mind to rewind this movie maybe a few moments before this boundary needed to change. Or maybe it's a day before or a time before that feels important, where there was a splitting in the road moment, where something could have changed. So just taking your time and rewind this movie all the way back to that moment where the character could have had an option, but walked down that path. And things got so intense or so out of hand that they realized that that boundary needed to change. So going back in time to that splitting in the road moment, continuing to breathe nice and easy. And when I count down from 3 to 1 and snap my fingers, we're going to add a new actor, a new character in this scene. And this person is going to be either it could be a person or it could be an animal, doesn't matter. Whatever feels right is perfect and correct. It can even be an ethereal being. But what we want here is to bring in this new character who's going to bear witness to this experience of this character calling in this transformation and this change for good. So just trust whatever your powerful subconscious mind gives you is perfect and correct. So 3, settling in even deeper. 2, getting ready to invite this advisor in, and 1. So just allowing this person, this being, this positive entity to come into this scene to witness this change. And acknowledging this being for being there with you today at this fork in the road moment. You're doing so, so well and receiving anything they have to offer, whether it's a hug or words or whatever it is. Just being in that sense of gratitude. Good. All right, so going back, thinking back, so going fast forward in time, I'd like you to go back with the help of this trusted support, this advisor, and going forwards to that moment where things felt like they were too much. Things got out of hand. Boundaries were crossed for whatever reason, whether it was external or internal. And I'd like you to go ahead and gauge on a scale from 1 to 10 of how frustrating or how challenging this experience is. So 1 being not so much, and 10 being absolutely intolerable. Just go ahead in your inner mind and imagine what that number might be. So taking a moment to receive that number and having this trusted advisor here with you as you witness that scene where things got to be too much. Things felt overbearing. And I'd like you in your inner mind, if possible, to bring that number up, remembering that you're the boss and you're in charge here. You call the shots. So bring that number up a couple notches. So if it was at a 10, I want you to go beyond, make it a 12. Maybe you can amp it up to 20 and really bring up those senses, that discomfort where everything feels too much in your inner mind around creating boundaries and using your breath here. You might even want to call in the energy of anger or frustration, bringing it up, and bringing it all the way up to the point where you have had enough. So really heighten the stakes here in this moment where you know that this character has had enough. And having this trusted advisor witness this moment. And I'd like you to affirm in your inner mind that I can't live this way anymore. I need to make a change. So affirming to yourself that you can't live this way anymore and a change needs to be enacted immediately. You've hit a wall. You've been putting yourself last. You've been bending over backward for no reason. And one more time, affirming to yourself, using any emotion here as your fuel to affirm, I cannot live this way anymore. Beautiful. Continuing to breathe nice and easy. So go ahead and rewind the scene with your trusted advisor once more. And going back to that fork in the road moment. Connecting to any subtitles or any inner thoughts or maybe a dialogue that's going on. And walking in that direction, one step in front of the other with the guidance of the trusted advisor to that brave, unknown territory. Really good. And as the scene progresses, you're coming up against that moment where things used to feel like they were too much. But just noticing what's changed in this scene. And really see, feel, and experience this scene from that new perspective. What sort of conversations are going on? What drama is happening or not happening? What sort of words connected to self-love? Putting yourself first? Or just having that non-attachment are bubbling up in this scene and making them very, very, very real. You're doing so well. And then watching the scene progress a little bit more, just seeing this character, choosing herself, standing in her power, holding that space, and seeing that ripple go out to every other aspect of this movie, to the other characters, to the other relationships. This entire movie has changed. So bringing this experience into all parts of your being, continuing to breathe nice and easy, and then allowing this process to be absorbed into every single cell in your body, into your nervous system. Just knowing that this is important work today. As you continue to release those old stories that used to keep you stuck, used to keep you bound, and making way for this new, powerful, self-sustaining, caring, loving version of you. Good. So in a moment, I'm going to bring you back. And with each and every single increasing number, you come back to this space, to this time, remembering everything and feeling absolutely wonderful, more inspired, more connected, just tuned into that sense of self-worth. When you create strong boundaries for yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Good. So 1, starting to come back now. 2, moving your feet and your toes. 3, wiggling your hands and your fingers. 4, lots of energy coming back into your body. 5, remembering everything and feeling absolutely wonderful. 6, even more energy. 7, 8, all the way up. 9, feeling great and opening your eyes. And if you want to do a big stretch into that boundary setting boss, and the word is yes. Beautiful.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Thank you, Ariel. It was beautiful. Very, very well. I'm pretty zen right now. Let's see if I can concentrate for a second. So I'll ask you, Stephanie, you might be in the same kind of zen mode as I am right now, but is there anything that you might want to share that kind of came up for you that might be helpful to share with anybody who's listening?
So often when I do things like this, that reliable witness that you asked us to bring in, Ariel, that's actually usually just an enlightened version of myself. So it's like a more powerful, it's like the ideal self, like the grounded, authentic self. And I always find, and it shifts and changes, but oftentimes that's the one that's like, has the most impact for me.
Beautiful.
Mine was interesting. So mine was like my soulmate that I haven't seen in this lifetime yet. And what was very interesting is that I put a lot on my plate. I take a lot of things to do. And that actually allows me to be in my masculine energy more often, which is also doesn't allow me to be in the state of allowing or the divine feminine as often, which is the feminine of achieving our goals and our dreams. So it's funny that with all the work that I'm doing, it's actually kind of counterproductive to allowing, the success that I would hope that all this work was gathering up and creating. And so it was also with having my soulmate come in there, it was actually, allowing that relationship to come in to actually alleviate some of the stuff that I'm doing so that I'm not stressing out when I need to find a reader at 2 a.m. Like if I'm taking a shower, someone will make me a tea so so I can get ready for a podcast or whatnot, just to take a little bit of those, things that I do all on my own by myself that keeps me in that masculine energy that's been serving me obviously up until now. But it was asking me to let myself be in that state of allowing and allow that relation to come in to kind of alleviate some of that masculine energy that I've been exerting for myself. So I thought it was interesting. Things showed up differently than I was expecting. And so that's how it came up for me.
Right. So would you say that's a boundary for yourself, or how does?
Well, I mean, definitely, because like taking on all that I do. And so like allowing someone to help would be me setting a boundary. Like, that's enough for me. Let me pass this on to somebody else, or ask somebody, or delegate, or, don't take on everything just because I think I can. Allow myself to get the help. And that is kind of creating a boundary for myself, I would say.
Yes. Beautiful.
Cool.
Oh, thank you for your share, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And so, Stephanie, we do like to close out. We're talking a little bit about witchy, hippy, dippy, woo woo, pulling a card. So I don't know if you read cards or anything like that. So if you have any and you'd like to pull a card just to close out
Do
the
it.
session.
You want me to pull my own? Yes.
I'll pull a card. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you have your cards, you're going to pull one and I'll pull one, and we're all doing.
Okay. Let me grab them.
Like, yes, get them. Ariel, do you have cards today as well?
I have these shamanic cards.
Yeah,
I feel like it's really extensive. Hang on here.
I'll let you ladies know I only have about 10 minutes left.
I don't even have 10. So, so yes, perfect.
This is the fastest card pulling ever.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, you pull first.
Okay. I got the King of Swords.
Ooh. So King of Swords, when I think of kings, they're in control of their thoughts and their mind energy. And I think, how I relate to that personally is that within hypnosis, we are actually reframing our thoughts, our beliefs, and becoming kind of like embodying that king energy where we are not allowing thoughts that don't serve us to be operating our subconscious. So that's kind of what I take from that for me.
Love it. I feel like he has good boundaries.
Yes, he does have good boundaries, and he delegates and tells people what to do. And his word is like, things happen. So he does have good boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay,
I love that.
Get a card. Come on, cards. Oh, of course. Okay. It's not really a scary card, but it appears to be scary. But so we have the Devil, and it's from the Major Arcana, which is, life's major events, major changes, the journey of the ego, the journey of the Fool. And so with the Devil, it actually talks about materialism and attachments. And I think that within this this session today, we do have, or at least I do have, like an attachment to how I've done all these things all up until now. I've always sat in my masculine energy and got everything done and go, go, go. And I think it's actually like my moon and my Mercury is in Capricorn, and then the Devil actually is its sign is Capricorn as well. So I think that Capricorn energy within me is kind of holding some attachments to the masculine, getting things done, go, 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 do, do, do. And I think that this is just reminding me that we need to let go of maybe some of these attachments in order to allow some goodness in. So that's how I take it. But you guys have thoughts?
Love it.
No, I like it. I like that you described that it's not scary, because at first glance you're like, no.
But yeah, some other cards though.
Scary.
The Devil will have it will just have materialistic things. Like it doesn't even have a devil on it at all. But this is a traditional deck. So yeah, it's attachments and breaking the bonds from attachments that we've had up until now. And so I'm breaking those attachments. I'm going to allow some stuff into my life.
Yes, allowing it in. I love that so much. Well, why don't we move on to? I can do a card another day, but I know that we're on a time crunch. So why don't we get Steph to share with us what she's up to, how people can connect with her, all the things.
What am I up to? Well, my film Consumer that I just directed this winter is on its festival run, and we got a great announcement yesterday about a couple festivals that we got into. So that's really exciting. So if anybody is down in LA, we're going to be at Holly Shorts in August, and then we're also going to be at Rain Dance in London in October. You can follow along with the film's journey at Consumer the Film on Instagram and Facebook, mostly Instagram though. And then you can follow me just at Stephanie Isaac on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Not really a Twitter person. And I do have a new Netflix series coming up this fall, but I can't really say that much.
Ooh, very, very fun. So yes, so definitely follow along. Definitely take a look down in the description box below. We'll have all socials and way to connect with you. Go ahead.
I'll say one more thing. I'm also an acting coach. I work with the Jeb Beach and Associates acting coach team here in Vancouver. So if you DM me through Instagram, feel free to, if you're looking for a little bit of guidance, little audition coaching.
Boundary setting skills.
Yeah.
And also you can work by Zoom as well. So if there's somebody around the globe who wanted to work with you, they can contact you through Jeb Beach and Associates, right?
Yeah, or they can just DM me privately on Instagram and I'll hook them up.
Fabulous.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. It was really great to connect with you, to kind of hear where you're coming from as an actor and showing up and being part of our show here today. So anytime you want to come, the door is definitely open for you to join us again. So please don't be a stranger. Ariel, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I love what you guys are doing. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Thank you. Delightful to have you.
Do you have anything else to say, Ariel? Or can we say?
Yeah, we can say that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We'll be seeing you next week with another guest. Very excited. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.